Welcome back in the pursuit of wealth, Cannara Biotech traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news and interviews. Today is Monday, July 28th. Hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday. We're going to dive into Cannara's Q3 2025 earnings that came out this morning. They had the highest revenue and profitability in company history as the company continues to turn heads, and it's still very under the radar in my opinion. But once again, shout out to the Cannara team. They're doing a fantastic job over there. I've already interviewed Nicholas Sosiak, the CFO, multiple times. I've been covering them extensively, really, for the last few years. And love this operator here in Canada. It's one of my portfolio holdings. There's also a massive bullish continuation pattern that confirmed on the chart. And we could see a lot higher prices. So we'll take a look at the chart toward the end, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the technicals and the price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. But first, we'll review their earnings, and then we'll jump into the chart. Before we do, make sure to smash the like. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, non-financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So again, full transparency, I do own Cannara Biotech, and don't buy or sell anything based on anything that I say right in this video. In this report, I think we'll just skim through it, but it was fantastic. The headline says it all. They delivered their highest revenue and profitability since inception in fiscal Q3 2025, and all figures in this are reported in Canadian dollars unless otherwise stated. So they had net of excise tax. Their revenue increased to 27.3 million in Q3 2025. And that was a 40% increase over the prior year period. And if we take a look at their excise taxes, again, it's just the biggest issue for this sector right now in Canada is the excise tax. And we know that that's just one, right? They're talking about going to one national stamp. That'll cut down on costs and burdens, time commitments, etc. Make it easier for these operators to operate in different territories and provinces in Canada. And then, there's also income taxes and payroll taxes and property taxes. This is just excise tax alone, and they paid just north of 11.5 million. So that's about a third of their revenue, gross 37.8 million and change, and 11.5 million of that was just excise tax alone. So as you can see, net was 27.332 million. So if we take a look at the rest of the results here, I'm not going to go over everything. They have improved margin, etc. Also reduced interest rate from 50 basis points to 25 basis points with BMO. And they have Quebec vape launch. So they got 5 accepted SKUs. They had some yield improvement, 26%. So that obviously would help with margins. And if we scroll down a little bit here, actually on this report here, you can see they had lease revenues and other income as well. So they have like a merch and all kinds of stuff, but also leasing in their facilities. So again, I'm not going to read the entire article. You've probably already read it, but we'll just go through. There's some comments there from the CEO, Zohar Krivorot, and then also Nick Sosiak. And then if we scroll down here, just want to check their cash at the moment. I just have to scroll down. They also had positive earnings. So obviously it came in with positive income. So the diluted was positive 0.04 EPS or earnings per share, and basic was positive 0.05. But here it is here. Total assets, you can see here, net assets, 98 million and change. So looking really good. Just under 50 million in working capital, and cash at the quarter end was 14.4 million. So like I said, great operator, profitable. And they're not even fully expanded to all of Canada yet. Just imagine when they start looking at other markets as well. But overall, great report. Pretty much status quo for the company. They usually report great earnings, so love to see it. But love to see that we continue to see growth here and up and to the right. Revenue and profitability hit records. But just imagine as well if we get some sort of reform tax with regards to excise tax here in Canada. We'll take a look at the chart. So it's super bullish at the moment. We have a weekly bull flag, and we actually had 2 shakeouts and fakeouts there and bear traps to the downside. Been seeing this a lot lately, especially in the cannabis sector and in crypto, where we see a massive move, and then a lot of traders like myself, a lot of technical analysts like myself are looking at these levels, and they know, right, these bots and these algos, they're getting very smart. So they know that a lot of traders are looking at that 115 area. So what they do is they go stop loss hunting, and they they try to shake you out, right? And what we've been seeing is a lot of pullbacks and wicks down to the 0.5, and then we go. There was two, but it ended up being a higher low, and that was a nice entry there. Just even if you were to look to play off of that 106 bottom, it hit 108, so it was a nice double bottom. And then as you can see, you can just take this line here, and you can draw that out. And on this consolidation and double attempt here on that double bottom, it's actually forming a ascending triangle. So typically these break bullish, not all the time, but typically it's just a series of higher lows and a horizontal line of resistance, and then eventually it breaks. And then you just take your measured move here from the low to the high of that, and then you move it out to your resistance line, which is now new support, and that gives you your measured move. It said we were targeting about 180, and then once we broke resistance there at 146, that confirmed, and that was actually a double top. Once we broke that, that confirmed the weekly bull flag. Then you just take your measured move from here, from the low there out to the 0.32 fib, and it's saying 257 was the target. So if we get over 195, which is now another double top, then we could easily see, like I said, the upward level of that 250 level. And I drew this out a while ago. I think it was the last video I made on them, and or maybe I was covering it for a Powder Private community member. But I had this weekly bull flag drawn way back here in I think it was toward the end of March. So this has been forming for a long time, and then the ascending triangle as well, and double bottom into resistance break. It was picture perfect. Also another massive signal. We just had the 50 and the 200 weekly moving average bull cross, which we call here in POW Group and in the POW Algo service, we call that a platinum bull cross. So on the daily time frame, when the 50 is below the 200 and it crosses, that's called a golden cross, which happened back here. Price went from about 80 cents all the way up to $2. Now, when that same thing happens on the weekly time frame, the 50 weekly and the 200 weekly, that's even more bullish. So we call it the platinum cross. So platinum bull, platinum bear. You can see here when the 200 hadn't been established yet, but you can see the 50 and the 100 weekly, when those cross, it's the same thing. When the shorter term's above the longer term and they cross, bearish. When it's below and they cross, when the shorter term's below the longer terms, that's bullish, right? So you can see here, bearish, shorter term, the 50 was above the 100, tons of downside. Then the flip side of that, the 50 is below the 100 and they cross, that's bullish, tons of upside. And we just had the 50 and the 200, which is mega bullish. And you can see here we're blasting off parabolic into space. So that's the significance of those. And we also had a bullish triple thunder crossover, which is when the price crosses above the 10-week moving average. We have a cross of the stochastic and the MACD on the weekly time frame. That's very, very bullish. And that's typically the order that you see it as well, this sequence where the stochastic will cross bullish, then we'll get a close over the 10-week moving average, then the MACD will follow through on the weekly as well, and that's exactly what happened. And then on the flip side of that, bearish when you have the close below, and then the bearish cross of the stochastic and the MACD. And then you can see here we had quite a bit of downside. Ended up being a double bottom like I mentioned, and then we were leading into another bullish cross. So it's looking fantastic at the moment. At $2, obviously going to be very, very strong resistance to get above. So, and we have that double top, like I said, at 195. So if we can get above that, like I said, $2, if we can get some follow through above $2, I think we could easily be off to 257. Because keep in mind, if we zoom out here, this is the all-time highs here on the TSXV, so the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture. If we take a look at Cannara on the OTC, I don't believe it's LOVFF. I don't believe this is all-time high. No, it's not. So all-time high would be $2 there, and we're sitting at the high of this month at 141. And we also had the first ever, well, I guess on this side it was the second ever bullish cross of those monthly EMAs. But if we take a look at LOVE on the TSXV, this is actually the first monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross in history. And as a result, we have all-time highs on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture as well. But like I said, fantastic report. Wouldn't expect anything less, honestly, from Cannara Biotech. For those of you that are in the U.S. and you're not sure who Cannara is, essentially they're a very small producer, but they're kind of taking that crawl, walk, run approach, and they're trying to deliver the highest quality at the best price, essentially. And they do have some fantastic products. I've reviewed them and can't say enough good things about them. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section below. Like I said, it looks poised for more upside at this point. Obviously, we're going to have some micro pullbacks along the way, but wouldn't be surprised at all to see us, north of $2 and then getting close to that weekly bull flag target of 257. All right, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. Again, let me know your thoughts and opinions. We'll continue the conversation in the comment section below. See you on the next one.